Hello, fellow Pops. I'm Dr. F Scott Feil, and I'm bringing you a message from our sponsor at Ice Shaker. My diet's always been a little bit messed up most of my life, and I recently started trying to take back control of my health. And one of the issues my doctor pointed out was that I needed to make an increase in my protein intake. Now, I can't eat chicken breasts all day, every day, so protein shakes and powders have become a big help. Ice Shaker and its built-in removable agitator is an amazing product. They come in a bunch of sizes and colors, and you can even get inscriptions and logos on them. They're stainless steel, double wall insulated, and hold ice for 30 plus hours. If you're interested in purchasing one, you can click on the link in our show notes. Or if you're interested in selling them for your business and making commission, and let's be honest, if you're listening to the Professors of Profit vlogcast and you can consider yourself a pop or a professor of profit, you're likely interested in selling these as a side hustle. You can click on that link in the show notes as well. Or you can reach out to me directly on social media. I'm pretty available there. I love Ice Shaker, and I'm betting you, your patients, and your clients will too. Ice Shaker, let's shake things up. Now let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F Scott Feil. I've got with me today a physical therapist and actually an interesting side gig, refereeing. It's one that I've been looking forward to getting into for a little while there, but Jason Goumas. Jason, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey, how it's led you to where you're at today, and how you picked up the side gig, man.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm Jason Goumas. You said I live in Lexington, Kentucky. So I played soccer as a kid. It's all been recreational. Okay, so I played up until freshman in college. And then more recently, my daughter played for a little bit from about the second to the eighth grade. So I coached her team and several others along that time. And in the process of that particular league, they asked for volunteers to referee. So I started there, moved into a different league that's much larger. It's actually, this is the league that I'm in. They have over 2,000 kids in this league. It's the largest one in the state.
Wow.
And so they were developing a club program. So they wanted people to become licensed and certified. So that's been about 3 years ago that I actually got officially certified as a referee. And so I've been doing it ever since. So I was supposed to coach in spring of 2020. My kid doesn't play soccer anymore. She's a freshman in college. So I'm just stuck with a referee. I love the kids. I love teaching the game in particular, especially the younger ages. And it's just, it's the only way I like to run, because running in a straight line for no particular reason is miserable.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's an awesome perk, though. I mean, it's a great way to get your workout in. Tell us a little bit about, why physical therapists, why professors or clinicians or, anybody in healthcare should get into refereeing. What are some of the pros that you've seen being involved in it?
For me, it pays well, it varies depending upon the age. But this league pays just as well as any club league. I do a few club games, but I enjoy this league. It's a Christian-based league. It's nice. Great people. I've known some of them for years. And I also have my own business where I work with a lot of young athletes actually all over the world, in particular with Osgood Schlatter. So I've actually gotten a couple of clients from doing this. So
yeah, that's a great referral source, man. I mean, a lot of the kids' sports, you can pick them out and see them. You see the knee pain, you see some issues, and you say, hey, you should get that checked out. Here's my card. That's a cool little side referral there.
So yeah, a few seasons ago, I heard this kid, yelling out during the game that his knees were killing him. So I caught up with him and his dad over after the game, and I said, "Oh, you do this, 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 and this." And so a couple of weeks later, he runs up to me and says his knees weren't hurting anymore. So
yeah, man, that's like I said, it's amazing the knowledge base and this musculoskeletal foundational knowledge that we as physical therapists possess, and I think it's important for people to realize how many things that we can do and the impact that we can have, if we just think outside the box a little, right? it's not like you became a referee to get a referral source, but it's a network. Like you said, it's great people, you've known for a while now. And every once in a while a referral does pop up. So that's pretty cool. I think it's a neat way to enjoy a sport that you like being involved in still, and I think the community part of it's really cool too. I think you get to know the community and the people involved pretty personally.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes maybe negatively too, right? I know referees take their brunt of the fans every once in a while too. So I'm sure it's not all rainbows and unicorns all the time.
So, right. I mean, there's the occasional one, but it's pretty easy to snuff that out. Most of the time, people come up to me and say, I'm the best referee they've ever had. So I've
Yeah,
given a couple of yellow cards
there
to
you go.
a pair of coaches that were getting a little out of hand.
That's awesome.
But
Talk a
generally,
little bit, if you don't mind, talk a little bit about that certification process, because that's taking it a whole nother level. That's not like just going, reffing your rec league, your local rec league. That's really getting to the next level. Tell us about that.
most of your rec leagues will do require people to be licensed. Okay? So there's different levels of licensing on what's called the grassroots level. So it's the kind of your entry level, and the vast majority of referees are grassroots reps. So it's called U.S. Soccer Learning. They have modules you go through. So it goes through each individual law. So we have the laws of the game as opposed to rules. In soccer, unless you get to high school, they have their own set of rules. So that's a little bit different. So you go through that. It's all video modules. You answer some questions. There's a test at the end. There's basically you just keep answering questions until you get enough right to pass that part of it. But then they do have a field portion where it goes through kind of the mechanics of where you should be and little scenarios. Can you pick out a foul? Field inspection, which is important. A couple months ago, I did a club game and was checking out the field, and apparently a couple weekends before, a couple high schools had this huge party up there. So there's this shattered glass bottle down by one of the goals. And so I dug up rocks, a little bit of a rock picking up, and it took this much out of the ground. And then, it does take a couple seasons to really get comfortable and know where you need to be looking, what to look for, catching some of the shenanigans. Yeah. And so, on that part of it, there's, quite a bit, especially with club, where people can get a little vocal. So there's actually a Facebook group called Offside where deals with all that, because there is that kind of dark part of it. And so, especially as a new referee, especially some of the kids, 14, 15-year-olds, statistically, I think it's about 60, 70% are stopping by the time they hit 3 years.
Yeah. So you're preventing injuries even out of the clinic, outside the clinic. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit then about some tips, tricks, and pointers you've learned throughout the years of if somebody wants to get into refereeing, if somebody wants to do that as a side gig or side hustle, what are some tips you have for them that if they're just getting started?
For sure, study, watch games. There's several referee Facebook groups. You can, ask questions there. Pull up a scenario, especially if you got a video. Say, hey, what would you call here? So I've learned a good deal from there. There's some very high-level referees in some of them. There's plenty of resources. There's one called Fair Advantage, where they actually have a free course that parents and referees can take. I did that I think last fall. Learned a good bit. When you're on the field, knowing where to be. Of course, that depends on how many referees you have, whether you're by yourself or you're running a 2-man or a 3-person crew. Don't look at the ball. You got 2 people going for the ball. Look here, see what's going on, what's happening with elbows and arms, and things like that. Take a quick scan here and there, see if there's any other shenanigans going on, which there can be. Good to do when there's one player with the ball and you don't have a couple together, because you take your eyes off for that split second and stuff go down. It happens fast.
Yeah. I mean, I give you guys all the credit. The only refereeing I think might be a little more difficult would be hockey, just because you got to, learn how to skate too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are, like you said, having to keep your head on a swivel at all times. So I can definitely appreciate that. Well, Jason, where can people reach out to you if they have more questions about getting involved in refereeing, or if they, just want to see what you're up to these days?
Sure. My website, of course, it's PT based, is newdirectionwpt.com. Email is my name, Jason at newdirectionwpt.com. So for sure. But if they're interested, look up some of the referee group. Again, these are more soccer groups that I'm involved in, but they're out there for all of them. If you wanted to go higher, which is possible, and that's where they start having their fitness test. And so one part of it is repeated sprints. So it's 75-yard sprints in 15 seconds or less, with either 18 to 22 seconds in between each of those.
Ooh.
I will never do that.
Fair enough. You've found your level, you found your niche, your comfort zone. You're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, I can do about 3, and that's it.
Fair enough. Well, we'll drop those links in the show notes so people can find you out there. But Jason, thank you so much, man, for coming on to talk a little bit about refereeing as a side hustle. I love it, man. It's been very informative. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It's awesome. Just love the kids. That's really, at the end of the day, good for that.